you're going to hear all the ins and outs of Godfrey's wild career, everything he accomplished even before he produced Coney Island Baby at the age of 21. Anyway, we're going to focus on Coney Island Baby today.
The band at the time, his touring band, was Lou on guitar and vocals. Doug Yule, who had been in the Velvet Underground, also played guitar on that tour. Bruce Yaw was the bass player. Marty Fogel, the sax player. Michael Sikorsky was the drummer. And Michael Fanfara ended up joining as the keyboard player later in the tour. Lou came back home in May. He's also supposed to then go on a tour called the Star Truckin' 75 tour, which Miles Copeland had put together. His name was on the posters. He had to be replaced at the last minute with Ike and Tina Turner. So instead, he went back home. He went to New York, and he checked into the Gramercy Park Hotel. And that's where Godfrey Diamond comes into the story. So, Jason, if you want to do a little intro.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys a little bit about our special guest. Godfrey Diamond is a producer, engineer, mixer. The guy can play drums as well. He even has a #1 disco hit to his name. He encountered Lou at the age of 21 and got tapped up to produce Coney Island Baby. Just take a moment to consider what you guys were doing at the age of 21. Don't worry, I'm embarrassed myself as well. So without further ado, please welcome Godfrey Diamond.
Here we are.
We're gonna dive into. How about
Tess?
How did you become this name in the mix of Lou's looking for a new producer? Lou has fallen out with his old producer. In fact, just to give you like a little bit of a timeline here, Lou is working with Godfrey starting in October 1975. I think it's September 29 or 30. He gets served papers because his manager, Dennis, is suing him. And shortly thereafter, Dennis's brother, Steve, is also suing him. So it's like, and Metal Machine, all the fallout of Metal Machine had just happened. Like, things are like kind of rough in mid-1975. So how do you enter the picture?
So I met Lou somewhere between the summer and fall of '75. And but before I start, I really want to thank you, Jason, Don, and Lori for inviting me to even be here tonight. It's a privilege, and I want to also thank all of you for coming and being interested in this record that we're going to hear about today, and Coney Island Baby. It was important to me, and it was a fun record to make. And with a little luck, I'm going to transport us all back to New York City in 1975. It was pretty gritty, pretty cool. You didn't have Times Square like it looks today. You had an Orange Julius down on St. Mark's on the corner, 6th Avenue, right down from Electric Lady. It was a different scene, man. The cop cars were all big old Chevys. And anyway, I need to set it up a little bit. The deal is, I met this wonderful woman, Mandy Newell. She was a publicity person back in the 70s, and she knew Lou. She worked for Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper's manager was Shep Gordon, and we were good friends. She knew Mick Rock really well, the English clique, and I got to know them pretty well. And she came up to me one day and she said, Lou's looking for an engineer, and would you be interested in meeting him? And I knew nothing about him trying to make this album before in any way, and I was just like, hell yeah, let's go, She said, I'll set up a lunch. So we go down to Ashley's at 13th and 5th. At the time, it was kind of a corporate creative corporate kind of lunch place. And I showed up, and there's Lou. We sat across from the table, and Mandy sat here, and we just we hit it off, man. We really hit it off. I could feel there was a vibe going there, and clearly he did too. And Mandy got up and said, listen, I got to go back to work, but it looks like you guys are doing all right. So we talked for a little while, and then a few minutes later, Lou says, you want to hear some stuff I'm working on for the record? And I said, sure. So we go up to the Gramercy Park Hotel. It was the first time I'd ever been to the Gramercy Park Hotel. Remember, I'm 21. This is 50 years ago. So the first time I'm in the Gramercy Park Hotel, for those that don't know, it's at the foot of Lexington Avenue, that beautiful park at the bottom. You need a key to get in it, and only the buildings surrounding it can get in to walk around and enjoy the flowers and stuff. And Lou and I did that a few times. It's really a beautiful place. So in the Gramercy Park Hotel, the guy downstairs had a couple keys, and he would let some of the people in this hotel go in there. And there was everybody in this friggin' hotel. I mean, I ran into Hunter Thompson there, ran into Bob Dylan with the Rolling Thunder Reviews, hanging out, staying there, and man, everybody was staying in this place. It was a pretty special place. But before we go too far into that, I would like to come back to that. We go upstairs to Lou's room in the hotel, and he opens the door. And standing in front of me is a 6 foot tall, the most striking woman, trans woman I've ever seen. I mean, she was beautiful. And, she had these cheekbones, and she was Mexican, long black hair. She was stunning. And so I said hello, and nice to meet you. And, I had a sense of relief when I met Rachel, because I knew that there was somebody home, kind of, that's taking care of Lou, and he's not just out on his own. She's a nurturing person, and I was just happy to see that. But it was brief the first time. He goes, come on in here. We go in the bedroom, and he sits on the bed. He set up a little tape recorder right here, a little Sony cassette recorder, which we all had back in the day to write ideas down and songs on and everything. I must have had 3 of them. I'm sure you had a few. And he proceeded to click record, picked up a Stratocaster, which it was. You were right. It was a black Strat, and I know that because I bought one right after this record. So he sits there, and he's just playing without plugging it in. He just was playing a Strat. We're not talking about a hollow body here. It's a Strat. And he's just playing it and singing right to me. And he sings 1 song, 2 songs, and I'm getting into it. And he'd stop in between, and he'd ask me what I think, and I start tapping along, and I'm really getting excited about this because these songs are really friggin' good. And I didn't know what I was walking into. I mean, after Metal Machine music, I didn't know what could be happening here. But these were stories. These were real stories about people he's an amazing writer, the guy. And so I'm listening to these one after another coming out. She's My Best Friend, and Ooh Baby, and Coney Island Baby. One after another, man, crazy feeling. And each one is friggin' good. And I'm
and he's just playing this to you right there.
Right there,
and
on
taping
the little
each one.
guitar, and taping it for me.
Yeah.
And it was a cool. I knew. All right, I think I got a record here. I think I'll be able to do this, because you can walk in as a producer to any situation, and you could have half a record, you could have fragments, you could have choruses where you got to write all the verses. You could walk into anything with different artists. This thing was all the way. He had plenty. And when he stopped, I asked for more. I said, "What else do you have?" And he's like, "You want more?" I said, "Yeah, I want to hear every song you have right now, because that's what I like to do. I wanted the entire catalog, the vision of what is possible to put down on this album.
And he played 15 songs for you.
He probably did, yeah.
No, that's the number on
Oh.
the tape he gave you. And you walked out of there with that tape.
And he popped the tape out, gave it to me, and I split.
And no one's ever heard this tape until you played it for us, because you've just had it the whole time.
I've had it in my drawer at home.
And so we wanted to start by playing you guys one of these songs, and so you could hear what it was like that very first time you sat there with him and he was showing you the songs.
But you can see here an image of the actual tape, and do you want to just take a second to explain why it says Godfrey Daniels on it?
Yeah, Lou used to joke around and call me Godfrey Daniels. You know, I don't know why, but I didn't care. He could call me whatever he wants as long as he makes a record with me.
It's a little hard to read. Does it say definite songs on there?
It's hard to read.
Yeah, it's
his
hard
writing
to-
is,
yeah.
but that's his writing. Anybody that knows his writing, Lori, knows that that's his writing.
So we're going to play you guys a song from this tape. I should reiterate, please don't record this. And we're going to listen to A Gift, which, I don't know, I think it's a lot of everyone's got a soft spot for A Gift. It really comes in a special place in the record. I believe it follows Kicks, right? So it's like this.
It's after, it's the
Oh.
first song on side B.
Side B, yeah. It's a real reprieve from what the record's doing right before then. So please enjoy for a few minutes.
I'm just a gift to the women of this world. Responsibility sits hard on my shoulder, just like good wine. I'm better as I grow older, so that I'm just a gift to the women of this world.